Remember that block? So here we are where the sod is, and it is looking fantastic. All this stuff here has got to grow in. It's just replacing some stuff. There was a flower bed here. It was really tall. We've taken all of that out, and we put sod in place. Thought about concrete maybe next year, but if the sod works out well, probably just going to leave it as is, which would be better. You know, less work, less cost. Kind of that little thing lays down on that back corner over there, which is fine. That way it can just run off, and then it'll run down that little trail right there, and then right out the runoff. So that's not a big deal. What we were left with though was this front piece, where all of this was existing when they built the house. All of this porch and stuff was built. So you can see we got a little ledge right here that we're gonna have to cut off. It's about 3/8 of an inch deep. So I'm gonna take my little cut off and run that, cut that nice and flush, and then we've got 3 inches out to here, and we've got 3.5 inches from here to here. Now the dilemma is creating something that's going to be functional and cost effective and look nice, be structurally safe. So I've had to implement all of those patterns into developing this little thing that I've come up with for this. We were going to do a couple other things. I've had 4 or 5 different ideas for things. And the solution I've come up with now is on this corner, I'm going to cap this with one of those blocks that I showed you and make it fit into the picture. But like I said, I'm going to take this off and have this all cleaned up, take all the brick off of there. And then those blocks are 15 3/4 long and 3.5 inches deep and 7.5 inches wide. So what I'm going to do is to cut them in half. That will give me 3 5/8 out, so I'll have a tiny little bit of a lip here, not much at all, and then they're 3.5 inches deep, which covers our area from here to here, you know, plus the mortar and things like that. So no matter what you put on here, whether you put concrete on here or whatever, and I might change that dimension depending on what I run into here, so this is kind of a creative process. But what you'll run into, because this is so small, you know, this is now going to become a step ledge. So you're going to have, over time, no matter what you put in there, it's going to want to flex off from the lip out here and just from normal usage of it. So what we're going to do is when I cut the blocks down, we're going to drill holes in the bottom corresponding with the holes in the block. We're going to clean those out a little bit, throw some concrete down in there, throw some concrete in our holes, put a piece of rebar in each. And then what will happen is all that stuff will tie together, plus what's tied onto the block and to the back. Then it will be super structurally stable, and it will not tip, it will not come off. You know, maybe in 40 years, 30 years maybe, you know, you might have one that comes loose, but, you know, all in all, with the rebar in here and the rebar up into the block, you know, that's a nice little structural piece. So, you know, it's a lot of them. There's there's going to be 10 of those blocks, so 2 holes each. That's 20 holes we've got to drill. 20 pieces of rebar we got to cut down. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks here. We got to address that in a little tiny bit. Put something fancy in there to make that look nice. Do the same here, something that's going to create a nice look out of this. And then we're just going to simply paint this block base. We were going to scratch coat it, but since the grass is in here doing a nice job of hiding part of it, we're just going to, you know, paint it as is. And once we get all this stuff in and painted, all blend in overnight, and it'll be an easy peasy project, very cost effective. The blocks, we have all of those on hand. The drill, the bits, we'll have to get a little bit of rebar and some concrete. And other than that, man, it's going to be a freebie.